Hello. Welcome to an Eagle 6 production. What we're going to be doing here today is taking apart the Tokyo Marui USP AEP electric pistol. It's kind of like a two-part video. It will be both showing people how to take apart the gun so that they can do it themselves, and also to fit the Eagle 6 spring. So people wanting to fit the spring can obviously watch the video and then fit the spring themselves, or you can just, if you just want to learn how to take apart or do, fit upgrade parts yourself to the AEP, then you can do it yourself and just watch the video for that. So we'll start off by just taking the top slide off. This video can obviously work for the Glock or the USP or the Beretta actually. So as the gearbox is the same inside them, it's just slight variances on the outside, but you get past the outside bit quite quickly, and it's actually obviously the inside gearbox which most people are afraid of. But yeah, it will show you sort of just how easy it is, and hopefully it's informative for everybody. What we do is start off with taking off the top slide, pull the hammer back, and then just lift off the top section. It's not difficult, it's just obviously the small pieces involved and that sort of thing. It's important to sort of put them aside and have a nice little workspace, so you don't lose things, that sort of thing. So once the top slides off, my particular one is slightly different from how you'll find a completely standard one, in that I fit a lithium polymer battery here around the barrel, so it gives me a slightly higher rate of fire, and nicer trigger response, that sort of thing, with sort of very little modifying of the gun. So the little battery is a 900 milliamp and just sort of sits in there nicely around that. The only hassle is obviously taking the barrel out to charge it, but I don't really find that a problem. So once you see how easy it is to take the gun apart. Next bit is we take off the cover here. This cover is actually quite important, so that it sort of holds a lot of things in place, like the trigger mechanism and the selector switch for selecting single and auto. If you have any problems with single and auto fire, it's usually because this isn't pushing down enough on the other components. Just one long screw on the side here. These are all Phillips screws. It's all electrical stuff, the kind of thing you find on a small mobile phone. That kind of size screws, so you need quite a small Phillips head screwdriver for that. There's another one at the back here and another one at the back here, both small Phillips. I've kind of lost that one through time, but this one's still here. Just pop them to one side. If you want, when you put them aside, like on a piece of paper, you can actually write down and mark sort of the names and where they're from, so you sort of know that. Or when you take pieces off, just pop them back into the parts so you know where they come from. When you take this off, just sort of pull one side, pull the other, and sort of around the hop unit and barrel there, and then just lift it off the top and just pop it aside. Next, what we'll do is take the barrel out. Two screws, one and another one there, both Phillips head. These are slightly longer than the other screws. I find that I kind of remember where the screws goes because they're all from all the different lengths. They only sort of can go in certain places. You've sort of got these two medium length ones here that go in the barrel. The longest one goes in the side of the plastic cover, and the other ones are pretty much standard length for the rest of the gun. So, apart from some of the torque ones that are on the gearbox. As you see now, the barrel just pops out. Sometimes the nozzle will be in a forward position. If it is, just pop a screwdriver through here at the back and just pull the nozzle backwards, you see, like that, and that way you can lift the barrel out without any problems, and then just slide the barrel backwards so it pops out of the front section there, and just pop the barrel to one side. I've modified this, the original battery quick release part. I didn't need it with the LiPo bit, so I just took it completely out and just left this part in for show, just to maintain the original looks of the gun. Yeah, then we just take in this case, the LiPo out. So we'd have already removed the quick change the sort of standard TM battery if we had it all standard. Just undo the micro Deans connector there, and just put the battery aside. Then what we do is I like to take the rear hammer mechanism off. So there's 1 and 2 Phillips screws holding that on. So just undo these. They sort of stay in there, but obviously once they're loose, you can then just lift this top section out. See how this is actually what's holding the air nozzle in place and the spring. So what you need to do is we need to move this slightly forward and then get like a flathead screwdriver in there, just so we can take the tension off the hammer so that we can lift the hammer out. So I'm just going to pop this in here. So now we get the flathead screwdriver in between the two, so that way we're taking the pressure off it. Move it back out the way, and then we'll lift the hammer up with the other hand. It's great fun holding this in front of the camera and trying to do it at the same time. Right, and just lift the hammer up like this. It comes out. Alright, once the hammer section's out, just leave the 2 screws inside it, which is that one there. There's a little spring on the side here, just make sure that stays in place and don't touch that, and just make sure it doesn't ping and get lost or anything. There's this trigger bar here which joins the trigger to the trigger switch on the back of the gearbox. Take that out. You'll see in here there's usually, I've lost it on mine, but there's a little spring. It just basically, it usually stays on there for the most part, but it sort of drops off in its own accord sometimes, so just put that aside and make sure that you don't lose that little spring there. Air nozzle wise, see the spring on there, what we'll do, we'll just pull this out. There's a couple of little air seal O-rings on there. Just be careful when you're putting it in and out that you don't split them or anything. So then put that aside. There's a little bar here which goes up and down. This is all part of the single shot and full auto mechanism that sort of disconnects and stuff. That gets hit by the taper plate and knocks the full auto switch and single switch, that sort of thing. So giving it single and full auto. What you want to do is when you just be careful when you're putting this. Well, we'll go over it when we reassemble it, but it has to go. When you're putting it back down, it has to go between here and here when you're sort of lowering the hammer back in so that it goes in its right position. Right, what we want to do next is the release from the magazine catch. Now there's a little bar there which if you want to you can just poke out and then that'll pull that out. Just don't lose the spring there, but you don't